Today we saw the NASDAQ coming right down, touching the 200 period SMA. Is this the end for stocks, or are stocks about to go substantially lower? And tonight at 9 o'clock, this could have a huge impact out here for stocks. Now, when we come over and look at the fear and greed index, once again, we are in extreme fear. We have a reading of 20. The previous reading was 24. And I think the lowest point that I've seen the fear and greed index out here today was roughly right around 16. Now, when we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board, the Dow was down 670 points. The NASDAQ was down 65 points. S&P 500 down 71 points, with the Russell 2000 being down 2.3. Now, when we look at advancing issues versus declining, we had 60.9% of issues declining on the day. Then as we come over and look at the sectors across the board, only one sector was in the green. And who was that? That was actually technology. Now, NVIDIA today was contributing to technology actually rising, where NVIDIA was up $1.88. And look right over here to the left. NVIDIA has a swing point right over here. Are we going to be able to stay above the swing point after going below it? Keep in mind, there's still an ABC pattern down here on NVIDIA at about 107.70. Now we look right here, Tesla faces slower growth and rising risk among other reasons. And we just heard today, Canada is going to go ahead and raise tariffs on Tesla, aka a jab at Elon Musk. We look at a chart of Tesla. We can see today the candle basically closing as a candle of indecision, a spinning top type of candle. We have a wick on the top and a wick on the bottom. If we look over here to the left, you can see we have not quite made it all the way over here to fill in the gap at this moment. Now, if we look at this article right here, NASDAQ flirted with correction as tariffs induce stock market sell-offs continue. And if we come over and look at the QQQs real quick, they consider a correction 10% or more. And if we look at the Qs right up here from all-time highs, down to the low today, we saw the NASDAQ was down as much as 9.78%, on the verge of getting to that 10% correction. However, if we look at the SPY, the SPY real quick, and we measure right up here from all-time highs, down towards this low, the SPY is only down 6.66% at the low of the session. Now we come over and look at this article right here, Trump tariff, trade war as US hit China, Canada, and Mexico. And tonight, this is going to be very, very important. At 12 o'clock last night, the tariffs went into effect. But if we look right here, here's a quick summary. Trump imposes 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. China good duties doubled to 20%. Beijing's going to hit back. This is a trade war is what Canada is saying. In Ukraine, U.S. paused military aid. However, right below that, Zelensky says he's ready to talk to Trump once again. So Zelensky is basically capitulating. And if you notice, Trump's going to be addressing Congress tonight at 9 p.m. Why is that important? It's been rumored that he's already told his aides that he wants to announce the mineral deal with Ukraine. And we're going to see if indeed that will take place out here today. Now, with all the tariffs and everything going on, if we come over here and we look at the Fed watch tool, we can see we only have 14 days left until the next FOMC meeting. And if we scroll right down here, we look at the probability chart, and we were talking about this today on the live stream. And if you guys don't want to miss that next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. And today on the live stream, we did give away a 50K Take Profit Trader account. We may give out another one this week, but most certainly we're going to be giving out 2 more accounts next week. And we're going to give out at least one 50K account for each week of the month of March. Now, if you look, right now they're pricing in no rate cut till June, but earlier today, they were pricing it in as soon as May. And if the stock market continues to deteriorate, we're going to see this actually start to show that the Fed's going to start getting aggressive once again on cutting interest rates. Now, if we look at the dollar index today, dollar index absolutely getting destroyed, down 90 cents on the session. Now, with the dollar index heading lower, what do we think the precious metal gold is doing? Gold, once again, was on the move back up, and we're going to see, will gold be able to go up and take out this high? I've been waiting for gold to come down towards the 38% retracement, maybe even the 50% and fill in the gap. But with all the uncertainty out there in the markets right here, right now, that just simply is not what gold is trying to do. We come over and look at the volatility index. The VIX was up once again today, up 3.25%. But if we look right here at the wick of that candle, we see the VIX was up at the high point at about 26.35. Now, yesterday, the VIX was up more than 10%, which indicated today or tomorrow is likely going to be an update in the market. And given the fact how stocks really recovered this afternoon, I would not be the slightest bit surprised to see tomorrow actually be an update in this market. Now, I want to make everybody aware, Take Profit Trader right now having a 30% sale off all their evaluation accounts. And right now, there is no activation fee. Use the link in the description box down below. Use code EPITOME. Now, if we come over and look at the SPY real quick, the SPY, and we put on the moving averages real quick, notice the SPY, the S&P 500, has not yet hit the 200 period moving average. So there's still a little bit further to go. We also have a little ABC pattern down here on the SPY, which completes about 566.72. And we've been talking about this for several days now. The MACD indicator still looks extremely weak on the daily chart, showing no signs of firming up yet. On the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator still looks horrible, still barreling lower, but we start looking at the zero line. We're starting to get a little bit extended to the downside. Then as we come over and start looking at the 30-minute chart, notice today, all right, we did make a new low today. However, MACD indicator did make a new low. Something I wouldn't mind actually seeing out here tomorrow was can we go ahead and flush the low once again, set up another divergence, and then potentially see the S&P start to rally back up. You can see this afternoon, we had quite the push on the way back up, only to have a big knee-jerk reaction on the way down. Now, I want to do a couple things with this real quick. If we pull a fib from the swing low up to the swing high, notice where we stopped at, right at the 78.6. Then if we grab our Fibonacci extension tool, measure from the low all the way up to the high and back down from the low today, that gives a SPY a price projection at about 587.81. So again, that could be a target, especially if we see stocks on the move up higher if they have a positive response to Trump's speech out here tonight. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets real quick, we start off looking at the S&P 500. What do we see? Well, we came down towards this high volume node, taking out this untested point of control at 57.64 and a quarter. Now, I wish I would have been on point this morning looking to short, but for whatever reason on the stream, I kept trying to go long. Yes, I was able to go ahead and pull it together, but that was with a little bit of luck as well. Notice we had this structure breakdown zone right over here where he broke down from, the market came right back, essentially testing that area out here this afternoon. And now if we look at this last 4-hour candle, kind of a candle of indecision. We wicked right back up here, bam, got smacked right back down. As we come over and start looking at the 30-minute profiles, notice yesterday's value area low. We did not come back and test that today. And now the question is, are we going to start making our way up towards that area tomorrow? Look at the range. We had a 140 point range out here for the S&P 500. Massive ranges. And as we're looking at this, all right, just like we did with the SPY, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and assume that maybe we have this A to B equals C to D pattern on the way up. Now, it's a little bit early. This pattern would not be validated unless we come up here and we can take out the swing high, which we have not done yet. But that doesn't mean we cannot continue to go ahead and focus on that 58.99 price point. That most certainly is going to be an area of interest out here for me tonight and tomorrow. Now, if we come over and look at value area high, value area highs are coming at 58.24.75. Point of control is going to be 57.91 and a quarter, with value area low being down here about 56.75. Now, if we break above value area high tomorrow, then most certainly I do want to look for the market to come back and retest at minimum the top of this down candle right around that body, somewhere around 58.59. Anything above that, look to see, can we make it all the way up here for that ABC pattern completion? And today, we never saw, last night or today, the S&P 500 hitting the P point. The P point will be tested. Now, we come over, look at the QQQs real quick. On the daily chart, we already talked about the NASDAQ hitting the 200 period moving average. The candle out here today was basically a spinning top type of candle, wick on the top, wick on the bottom, which basically means a candle of indecision. MACD indicator still looks weak on the daily chart. On the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator starting to get that little bit of a round effect down here at these lows. Then as we look at the 30-minute chart, notice we have that nasty down candle. And notice, unlike the S&P 500, the NASDAQ did not retrace as far, which could set up a much larger ABC pattern on the way up. If indeed this afternoon's low ends up being the low, we can get a price projection up here about 509.59. But again, I don't want you guys to get it twisted. Even as we start to get a bounce in this market, it does not mean this selling is over with. Then as we come over and we start looking at the NASDAQ futures real quick on the 4-hour chart, here's a high volume node. This is something we drew out in the morning part of the live stream. And notice where we came to this afternoon. We wicked right to it. Bam, got smacked right back down. And when we come over and start looking at the daily profiles, notice real quick, value area high is all the way up here at a price point of 20,601.25. Point of control will be 20,357 and a quarter, with value area low being 20,268.75. Now, if we can start breaking above value area high, then it opens the door that maybe we can come up here testing this untested point of control, 20,936. However, if we go ahead and we measure A to B equals C to D, we can see that we have a price completion a little bit higher up here, about 20,979. So we do have some targets to the upside. The question is, will the market be able to make it up there and test those levels tomorrow? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, if you'd like to see the difference between a Pro and Pro Plus account within Take Profit Trader, then make sure to watch this video right here.